Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, August 13th. We're taking a look at S&P for a quick session recap. So let's kind of take a look at where we've come from, where we're currently at, and where we could go from here. So last week, remember, we were dealing with essentially a near-term range. Price made a low on Monday session following that Sunday evening gap down, and then we just trade within that near term, very wide, but near term range for the duration of the week, including a retest of Monday's volume point of control during Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning. Now we get into last Friday and we have a consolidation near the highs of this near-term range. Monday, expecting a slow session, right? Tends to be the norm on a Monday with no data, no news. And we get the same type of action, just more consolidation. Essentially, two ranges of compression, right? Volatility compresses and expands. So we get that compression right through there. Today with PPI, we're looking for any clues that buyers are going to be able to show continuation of this weekly time frame hammer. This has been the main theme for the past two sessions, continues to be the theme into tomorrow and the end of the week, right? So continuing to lean on that weekly time frame hammer. Today we get the push up and through that prior day high. I was using that as the primary reference point for today's session. Take a look at post PPI action. PPI breaks that prior day high to the upside. We get a retest, another retest. Nice opening drive trade, right? And then a pullback, some choppier action right through here, but ultimately a pullback into VWAP, that 2-hour trader framework right through there, and then a trend day higher. Love to see the session low being marked right through there. So now price is testing that 54.55. Now, one of the things we had talked about this morning that I want to bring to your attention, because we see this all the time, is the fact that price essentially above yesterday's high, above this kind of near-term consolidation, we have that big volume void, right? Anytime you see this on the chart, especially a higher time frame chart like the hourly, price can move quickly through these areas, and it tends to do exactly that. There's not a lot of volume through here. There's not a lot of market participation through here. So there's not going to be a lot of liquidity in that area. And so typically what happens is you have big momentum moves, big trend day moves like we saw last time price was in this area. In this case, it was a trend day lower a couple of Fridays ago. Today, you have that trend day higher, right? So that volume void has been filled. Now, essentially, with CPI upon us tomorrow, what we want to see is whether or not, what I'll primarily be looking at is how price trades essentially versus this zone right here. I want to see if sellers start to step in as price kind of pushes back into this prior structure through here, or if buyers can continue to sustain these higher prices, maybe test the 5,500, maybe test the 5,530. So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking at for tomorrow's session with CPI, treating this 54.35 by 54.55 as kind of a higher time frame pivot, and really wanting to see the response of this zone. So essentially, to keep it simple, I'll just be looking at how price trades versus today's high. Right. Let's also get a quick look at where price is in relation to the session volume point of control. Yeah. So session volume point of control is up here. So we have a nice kind of late afternoon structure to work with that built out during today's session that we can work with tomorrow. So that's ES. Now NQ is pretty much going to be identical as far as the intraday. bumping up against that 19,100 level of interest. Now the near-term structure is a little bit different because that prior day high did already align with this kind of late July structure that we see here. So here it is on NQ. See how different that is on ES. So I was talking this morning during the live stream that ES was definitely the more favorable of the two charts simply because of this current structure. ES had a lot of upside potential in this volume void before that target was hit, right? NQ did not have that same kind of setup. The volume void was much smaller. It was already bumping into the structure low right through here. So my preference was definitely for the ES chart. Now, as far as what I'll be looking at here on NQ, essentially same type of approach. Do we see that buying continue versus today's high essentially with CPI tomorrow? Do we see that continuation move up into this prior daily time frame volume point of control right through here, this hourly kind of high volume node and volume point of control up through here? Or is it going to be some type of retracement day tomorrow, maybe a partial retracement of today's trend day move? Let's have a look at the daily chart here on NQ. So getting that good continuation up and through that prior weekly bar high. Take a look at that right through there. So another thing I'm going to start keeping an eye on here is the entirety of this sell-off and how, so this is going to start to be important. Wanted to see how price is going to start trading versus some of these Fibonacci reference points. The 50% and the 61% are going to be significant to see if we get any type of selling activity versus these areas. So that 50% price is almost there. It's almost retraced 50% of the entirety of this sell-off. Let's take a look at that same type of thing on ES and see where we're at. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more sellers attempt, or at least start to attempt, to short this thing. Let's take a look. Can we get actually into the back into the hourly? Looks like my trading view is just completely frozen here. Let's get a quick reload. Welp. Looks like trading view just went down on my end. So let me bring up a different screen. Did I lose internet? May have lost internet. All right, I think we're back here. So let me see. No, this is disconnected. Well, that is the stream. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow, main focus is going to be the reaction versus that prior day high. That's kind of the main thing that we need to be focused on, as well as some of those upside Fibonacci reference points. So I hope you guys had a great session. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to shoot me a DM in the Traders Think Tank. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow morning.